Have you guys been following the kind of gaming console controversy with Activision and Xbox and Sony and will they, won't they, and Call of Duty and all of this other stuff?
I followed a little bit, but I know there's some they're trying to block the acquisition, right, of like Xbox and Activision Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that there's monopoly laws out there for a reason, and I think that monopoly laws should be enforced way more often, especially today. I think with Activision Blizzard, I don't I don't think that it would. It's not a monopoly, right? Because Xbox is definitely not a monopoly. And I think right now it's pretty even. Well, actually, no, it's not even. Xbox is on the bottom, like significantly right now. I think last gen they had a better chance of like being more even with like that with Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. But right now, Xbox doesn't really have a lot of exclusive games, and that's a huge issue. That's the reason why they're not selling that many consoles. I would love for them to make more, exclusive games because it would make me buy a console, which I just did recently because of other reasons. But they need to up their game, and if them upping their game is like buying another studio, I guess. But at the same time, like I guess this is probably why we have anti-monopoly laws, right? Because you can't just buy a company to innovate, like, and especially we have like a lot of market share, but they don't have that much market share. So I'm kind of arguing against myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Sony has a very large market share because they're multiple companies under one, but they're not. They're also not a monopoly.
Well, Microsoft has
So
multiple companies under one.
they have smaller companies,
Well,
yeah.
I think the problem is that Microsoft as a whole is a monopoly,
Hmm.
but Xbox is not a monopoly, and I think that's where they're getting wrapped up. I think if Microsoft is sort of smart, they might want to just spin off the Xbox brand. But
So
I think they
they
can
were,
because it doesn't have a decent enough market share.
yeah, they were talking. There was actually legit talks about like after the acquisition, actually breaking up Activision and Blizzard, but they're saying it's like not feasible now because it's kind of too late. Because they might as well they're gonna just take what they got and just work with their teams. And I think it's actually better for Blizzard and Activision that Microsoft will instill their kind of work ethic and try to get rid of that whole frat mentality what they're working with. Trying to clean up their act a bit and get them focused on their product so that way their shit launches at a decent time window, unlike fucking around and just, you know, delaying shit and not getting on shit instead of having um, weird ass fucking cons with like weird fucking interview bedrooms and shit. Like get them on track doing what they need to be doing and making games. And so I think this would be a good thing for the Activision Blizzard acquisition so that they can focus on what they were made to do, and that's games. And Sony's got like all their, their first party studios as well. They're focused on games. That's what they do well. So I think with this acquisition over the next few years, we can see some really good first person titles from that. I mean, there's some.
It's too late though. I mean, to be honest, like you can't if they start developing, first party games for the Xbox Series X right now, it's too late because we're past the midpoint of this.
That's like 5 years now.
Yeah, of this generation's lifespan. So they'd have to basically develop. Huh?
Didn't just come out 2020?
Yeah, it's only been 2 years.
I mean, I think we're near the we're near the midpoint though. Like, look at the PS4. It didn't last 7-8 years. It lasted like maybe 6, maybe 5. I think it was like 5.
No. It dropped in 13. I mean, it still was.
The PS4?
Mm-hmm.
It dropped in 13? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong about this.
The PS5 came out in 2020, so we're 2 years in, almost 3.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this though. When it comes to Activision, it's a monster.
Okay.
But Activision is ginormous, and Call of Duty comes out every year. Even on some of their weaker years, it's usually at the very fucking top in terms of global sales and shit. It's just consistently every year dominating. Now, some years you may not play, some years you may not like it, bad reviews like with Vanguard or whatever, but they come right back the next year, and it's just this annual beast of a monster. In addition to that, you got your Overwatch. They obviously dropped a sequel last year. You got Diablo. You got World of Warcraft. You got a lot of fucking household name fucking titles and shit. And so, if all of those became exclusive to Xbox, I think that'd be huge. I think that'd be huge for that console. I think there's enough gamers that are committed to those franchises that if all of the next games were those next installments were only on Xbox, that'd be a deal breaker. And I think Sony sees that in some ways. I mean, Sony sells a whole lot of fucking Call of Duties every year too. You know what I mean? Like, let's be perfectly real with that. They don't want this to Sony does not want this to fucking happen, despite having a lot of market share. But I've heard, and again, it's hard to know what's real and what's not, but there's been rumors and even stuff in like Forbes about Xbox offering to keep Call of Duty on multiple platforms for up to 10 years, and then Sony rejecting that. And then, we don't know where the dust is going to fucking settle, but at the end of the day, you're going to want to have Call of Duty at least, along with the other big titles, but at least Call of Duty annually on your console. You just want that.
Well, and I think there's been actually a lot of capitulation with Sony for Microsoft when it comes to there is multiple PlayStation exclusive games that are on the PC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God of War and The Last of Us.
Spider-Man's on there.
Spider-Man, yeah. And these were Xbox exclusive games that are now on the PC. And so maybe it'll be like a time release. I don't know, but or they just do a software license. If you want to do it that way, do it that way. But this is why I think that it's not really a great idea for Microsoft to put so many eggs in the basket with the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, because first of all, Blizzard games, like, you cannot separate. Well, I guess if it's on a PC, it's still going to be Microsoft, but it's very hard to, if you only have, say, I would say right now, I'm just imagining that the Xbox probably has maybe 30% of the Xbox Series X has 30% of the market right now, maybe 30%, and that's being generous. And if you're going to sit there and acquire a studio that previously pulled in revenue from, all four streams, PC, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and then you're going to just narrow it down to just like 30% of a market. Like what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, they would get hurt. They would hurt themselves in terms of not having, especially Sony sales on that. But, it may entice quite a few gamers. Let's be real. If it was only, if they wanted to play it on console and it was exclusive to the console, I think a lot of people would get it literally for Call of Duty or Diablo 4 or World, whatever it is.
I
think most of those players would probably just get it on their PC. But that either way, that's still a market. That's
I
still
don't
a
even think
win.
they would get on PC. This is the problem, though, is that most people are either a console gamer or a PC gamer. Like, there isn't really there isn't much a crossover. I mean, I'm one of the few, but even still, I don't play very many PC games anymore. But I have a gaming rig. But yeah, I think it's also like it's most of these the vast majority of the market that you want to get are kids, right? And so trying to convince like the kids' parents, that's who you need to market it to, really, of buying a whole other console to like get something when previously it always came on that. It's like trying to convince, our parents when we were kids that a Sega Genesis is not a Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And the game that you want is on this console. Can you please shell out $200 extra in 1990 fucking 4 for this one game that I want to get? Like, that's a hard fucking sell.
It is.
Well, I kind of feel like the generation nowadays, the parents nowadays, like, we're more tech savvy, so they kind of know what consoles. I guess.
No, I mean, we are.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of.
there's There's still people out there that think iPhones are better than Android, so maybe not.
I mean,
It depends.
I kind of think Blue is kind of onto something, because I know several families that actually game together, like generational gaming, Like my cousin, he games with his son. A friend of mine, she games with her son. They have two of the same consoles in the house, two separate TVs, so they can play together.
Well, see,
So
like,
you have parents that grew up with the NES, with the Sega Genesis. They want that kind of experience with the new stuff with for their kid. So they're able to break out their TV, their particular console, and play with their next generation. I've
but I
seen
kind of
more
feel
and
like
more.
consoles are going the way like of TVs. 'Cause, like way back in the days, it was unheard of for you to have more than one TV inside your house. Nowadays, you can find
So
4 or
many.
5 TVs in the
Yeah,
goddamn fucking house.
everyone's got a TV in their own room.
Yeah, and I feel like consoles might go that same way too. They might find multiple consoles inside somebody's house just because
Mhm.
one kid wants this console or a second kid wants that console. It's just it's just kind of the avenue right now. Because
Yeah.
like for example, I know Kronos himself. He's got like 3 different kind of consoles. He's got
Of
the
all of them. Yeah.
the 5, the 1, and the Switch.
I have
Actually, no, you also got the.
The Steam Deck.
a Steam Deck
I was
too.
gonna say I was gonna say the No Cat.
Yeah, no, but I'm like an outlier. Like most people are not going to buy all that shit. And I'm actually,
No.
it's funny as you were saying that I was like looking up PSVR 2. But
I've been looking at that too.
yeah, I'm probably gonna buy one. I think most people, most working families, are just they can't afford that kind of shit. Like I have in one generation I'm spending like $2,000 on consoles, like, or maybe not 2,000, but it's a lot of money,
Yeah,
and
you're
most people
spending-
don't have that kind of disposable income.
For the consoles you have, yes.
Well, yeah,
But I've knowing more and more families they're spending $1,000 because they're paying 500 for one console, and maybe like when Xbox came out with the Series S, it's not as powerful, but they can kind of play the same game. So you buy that for your kid. So instead of spending $1,000, you're spending $750. So then you have
that's
two
a lot of
consoles
money,
in your house.
man. That's a lot of
It
money.
is,
What
but you get to play with your kid. You get to play Take Two with your son or your daughter. You get to play even Call of Duty or No Way Out or like these cooperative games with your kid.
something I was just thinking about is maybe consoles need to kind of do what cell phone companies are doing, where they have like not like a payment plan, but kind of like a payment plan.
They do.
Or like,
They do.
oh, they do. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
both of
saying,
them do.
I was just gonna say because a cell phone alone, like if without like the stipend from like the cell phone company, I don't even think companies do that anymore. But like a cell phone's like fucking like $800, $900, almost like $1,200, depending on like what kind of phone you get.
I mean,
And that's like a quarter. Like a console is like maybe a quarter of that price.
yeah.
It's
Bro,
crazy.
I was seriously like, I'm just looking up PSVR 2 and I'm shopping for it directly. And if you go on the Sony's website and the first thing that comes up is Klarna, 0% APR with Klarna. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
Did you?
now I want to get
Some
even more. I might just fucking buy it on this fucking podcast then. I mean, shit.
That day. So I know from the manufacturer themselves, like Xbox and Sony, they issue you a payment plan where you can pay off your console within I think 6 to 10 months or something like that. And it gives you choices on what plan you want to pick. And then I don't know if Nintendo does this for their Switch, so I don't know, but I do know that they do that. Also, Best Buy does that. Best Buy does like installment plans for whatever console you pick. So
Well, but what's even better than that, to be honest, if you're a cheap ass gamer, let's say you just shell out the $500. If you get the PS Plus whatever tier, you're gonna get free games every month. If you get the Xbox and you got that Game Pass,
yeah,
you're gonna get free games every month, quote unquote free games. You're still paying, but
yeah.
you're getting a lot of value that we didn't grow up with any of that. You know what I mean? Like you had to shell out $40 or whatever, $50 every fucking time you wanted a game, regardless of quality, regardless of whether that game was a few months old and had shitty reviews. You were paying, and a lot of times you can get like, look, I'm gonna be playing Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West.
Free.
I didn't pay for it last year just because I got caught up, but I'm not paying money except for my subscription fee to enjoy that game right now.
Mm-hmm.
Huge value.
I'm pretty sure Nintendo does something similar, don't they? They have like a free game thing on there, like games you can download or something
Dude,
for free.
apparently you can play like old school Sega games on the Switch right now.
Oh, I heard about. Oh, that's right. They have like it's a Sega Classic Collection. It's like 30 or
Yeah.
60 games for like it's like $10 or less or some shit. It's like hella games. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
So,
And I'll say this too. There's a decent amount of retro gamers too. Like
Oh,
people
yeah.
who that's their fucking jam, playing stuff from back in the day. And not all of them are old fucks either. Sometimes you'll have some
the
like
fuck?
younger people that are just wanting to historically go back to such and such Japanese RPG from 1987 and then work their way forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whole
I
Twitch
ran
streams dedicated to that.
I ran into some kid at a con, and they were all about some game that I don't remember the game, but I know the game was out before they were born.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, "Oh, I love this game." I'm like, "How do you love this game? You weren't even on the planet. What the fuck?" And they're like, "Oh, dude, because someone showed them the game, and they recognized it for what it was, and they enjoyed the mechanics for that time. So they enjoyed like collecting a handful of retro games, but they loved it. They had current games as well, but they're all about some of these retro games. Like, what the fuck? What you know? Like Fantasy Star, and like what was it? Some other it wasn't Chrono Trigger. It was something similar to Chrono Trigger. They're all about this shit.
Secret
It was
of
some,
Mana.
I don't know. It was a very old JRPG that I can't remember the name, but they're all about it. Also, shout out to Bovine Divine, who's a retro gamer. He's a streamer on Twitch. He supports the cast, so he links to our Twitch page on his Twitch. So
Nice.
shout out to him.
Nice.
Good shit.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, we'll just have to fucking follow this. I don't think the ink is dried on any of this shit, but
I don't
we'll
think
see.
anything's laid. They're still in like litigation. They're still
Yeah.
a bunch of shit. So,
So
but yeah,
I actually
Microsoft is still moving forward with fucking plans with shit. So I don't know. We'll see.
You know, be crazy. I mean, we were talking about like public libraries earlier, because then you can rent like movies and music and books, and you can do like e-readers and like audiobooks. Yo, they should get into the gaming industry. I know they used to do it for like PC games. You used to be able to rent PC games, but I'm not sure if they had it for consoles.
Blue, I'm pretty sure GameFly was doing that.
No, I'm talking about free rental. These kind of things.
Because I'm pretty sure someone like if you rent a console, those are high commodity items. Someone's not giving that. They're not giving that back.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't giving no PS5 back. You're I can get it
No,
from
I'm not talking
library.
about
Talking about the
consoles.
games.
I'm talking about games.
Games.
No, yeah, games.
You know what? They might already do that, Blue. You might want to double check.
Well, no, you can like from the library. You can like check out like a laptop if you need to.
Yeah, we can. I think you can get it for a
No,
week.
no. Hold on. You just saying a regular laptop. That shit is nut stained.
Oh, yeah,
That
it
shit
is.
got blood on it. Come on now, regular laptop. What the fuck? You know what that
I mean,
shit. You put a blue light to that motherfucker, it'll look all like fucking burnt.
It'll glow like a glow in
if
the
you
dark.
type on it, it works, right? So there you go.
Nah, that's a nut stained computer. Fuck you.